How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I've just got a bit of a video. I've been testing out a few little different mods, so it's kind of a video, a whole lot of nothing going on, not in a bad way, just I didn't really want to do anything too specific, because a lot of the trucks and that I'm going to do a review of anyway, so there's no point in kind of taking them down the same tracks I'm normally going to. But yeah, first thing was that I tried tonight was the off-road trailer mod pack thing, which is pretty cool, to be honest. You can see now as I'm flicking through them in the background, you've still got your selection of normal trailers, but you've got a load of cool options. You've got all like the special trailers we had. You've got versions of the original trailers that just have better wheels, like taller suspension, better off-road tyres, higher ground clearance, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, you could see the one with the Cat 770G, which is pretty good, because I've still got mine on, what's it called, Flooded Foothills. I kind of got it near to the garage, but I just left it there in case I ever wanted to fly around with the trailer, yeah, with a Cat 770G loaded on it. But fortunately I've got one now. There's like that massive special objective trailer. I think I did that on Northport in a P16. You have to like take it through the Devil's Mud and stuff. It's even got the little sort of dual one with a curtain side, little box wagon thing. Yeah, it's got all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. I'm going to take this one out. At the minute though, bearing in mind, when I launch this, this is on my newest playthrough. And I've got the Navistar. I've only got about 3 other trucks besides this, but yeah, it's completely stock, basically stock gearbox. It might not be a stock engine actually, because you can do like the money bug, and the Navistar's a pretty good one to do it. When you start a brand new playthrough, you can already buy both engines for the Navistar, so you can kind of buy the best engine, equip the stock one again, and then when you go down to the better engine, press sell and equip at the same time, and then yeah, it'll sell your engine, but it'll also equip it, so you'll get the money for it, but you'll get to keep it, and then equip the stock engine again, rinse and repeat until you got millions, basically. But yeah, it's a pretty cool trailer to tow around. Like I said, though, the Navistar's sitting pretty low, so stuff like the Colob, all sorts of things. I mean, there's other stuff now that's got raised suspension, besides the Colob, like different mods and that I've been testing out. In the end, I had to send this thing in, the stock Bandit. It's a good job, to be honest. It lets you have the Bandit when you start a new playthrough, because it doesn't give me really a hell of a lot. It gave me an Apache as well. I've seen sold that thing. Yeah, got to be up there with one of the most pointless vehicles in the game. I'm surprised it's DLC, to be honest, because it's not bad, it's just not good. It doesn't do anything good at all, like anything exciting. It's just ultra slow mode, and that's about it. Yeah, I'm liking this trailer a lot, because I did use the ramped flatbed quite a lot, because I like the Navistar. And I can have obviously a semi-trailer on the Navistar, but I usually like to have a crane on the Navistar as well. Yeah, the ramped flatbed, as I've said recently particularly, it feels like it's some kind of anchor that just drags through the mud. As soon as you're going through anything, it just seems to dig in and hold you back. This sort of off-road version of it with, yeah, raised suspension, better tyres and all the rest of it, is pretty good. I only gave it a little blast, but all the ramps and everything working fine. Stuck a car Marshal on there. It was another thing that it kind of let me have for free when I started this new playthrough, and I've basically not done anything on this playthrough either. It was just a bit of a bug tester tonight. I had a little bit of a bug tonight. I'll show you that near the end of the video. Nothing too crazy, but it could give you a little bit of a heart-stopping moment for a few seconds. Yeah, another cool trailer that it's added is this thing, which was it's at the petrol station on Black River, like near the start of the game. It's something you have to deliver pretty quickly, but then there's a trophy you can earn where you have to lift a trailer, and you have to lift it like 5 metres off the ground, but it has to be one of these special trailers. This was the only trailer, I believe, that was light enough at the time. I'm sure that wrecker wouldn't have an issue now. Yeah, it was the only trailer that you could actually lift. Although someone said, by the way, if anyone is on that trophy where you have to lift a trailer and you haven't got this trailer, apparently you can just lift one of the special trailers on one end, so just stand it up on its end. You don't actually... when I did the trophy for that, I lifted that fuel trailer kind of from the middle winch point and lifted the whole thing off the floor. So there is kind of a little workaround, just yeah, stand one of the trailers up on the end. But still, I quite like towing that trailer around for whatever reason. It's also got about 5,000 fuel on it, so it's potentially a pretty good one to just take somewhere to like Pedro Bay and drop it off, and yeah, have it as like a little makeshift fuel station until it runs out. Next one is this sort of trailer. I'm not going to go through every trailer, by the way. It's just a few random clips. Like I said, it was kind of a lot of nothing going on because it was just me driving around testing things. So yeah, an off-road version of this. I can't see it, like a wide heavy boy or something they used to call this trailer. Stuck the Tatrin on there, it's pretty cool, I can pack the Tatrin and everything. But yeah, just the ground clearance, I quite like the way the tyres kind of undulate as they're going over all the terrain and everything. Another thing I had to have a go of, this, like, is it like an IX wrecker again, it's like the small wrecker version. It's got a little mini crane and, I don't know, rotator axle thing. You've also got this little kind of 2-slot rollback. Yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty powerful. There's a lot of options to do with it. You can put the pretty bloody tall suspension on, a bit like a monster truck basically, as you can see. As soon as I figured out I could do that, that's the way I got it kitted up. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's got, not only has this got a lot of power, I also drove it with the normal sort of tyres on, like just pretty traditional sort of truck style. And it's a bit slower with them just because it makes sense. Like, say you've got the same power and the same amount of rotational speed going to the axles, a bigger tyre means you cover more distance in one rotation, so it sort of gears it up in a way, which, yeah, it's good. It was like a lot of fun flying around. That little field still holds a lot of stuff back. Absolutely no trouble ripping through them trees as long as I could point in the right direction. And then I rolled it. Yeah, giving the rollback a little go. Got the car Marshal on there, no problem. It was quite nice as well. The other day, it wasn't letting me pack stuff unless I was level. But when I had that rollback, like, on a proper slant, I drove the car Marshal up it, and then I was able to pack the car Marshal even when I was on, like, a 45-degree angle. Which is pretty nice, just so then when I hoovered the rollback in, it didn't try and roll off the back or anything like that. That's what I was attempting, trying to see if I could do some wheelers. And yeah, not too bad. Pretty successfully. You can see now though, a bit of a crash. It's like, oh no. That does not look normal. It's like when you're a kid or something. You break your leg and you're just trying to convince yourself, like, I didn't care. I didn't even like that leg anyway. That was my least favourite leg. I'll get by with one. just anything to convince yourself it's not really happening. I remember when I was a little kid, it randomly reminded me, but I was knocking some conkers off a conker tree and I found a big stone. I couldn't find any sticks left to throw at them. Threw this stone in the air and I kind of lost the stone. I say stone, like a big pretty meaty rock, like not far off the size of a child's head, or probably near an adult's head actually. Yeah, threw it up into the trees, lost sight of where it's gone. I kind of ducked, tried to dodge my way out of there, and it honestly landed like the perfect kidney shot on my right kidney, and it absolutely sat me down for a few minutes. And again, I was kind of half limping home. I had this weird feeling throughout my whole body when I just took, yeah, like the equivalent of a kidney shot from Mike Tyson as like an 8-year-old. Just walking home trying to convince myself that I'm fine. Like, nah, I don't need to tell anybody. I don't need medical assistance. I've got 2 kidneys. That's what I was born with, 2. Just in case I write one off. I've done some little drifts with this thing. To be fair, all things considered, it drove pretty nicely when it's got the tyre wedged up in there. And like I said, that's not really a bug specific to this, I wouldn't say. I got the crane stuck through the Dolphin the other week in one of the videos. It was just, I happened to go flying over the hill with a car Marshal on the back, landed perfectly right, and yeah, just smashed the tyre through the rollback, but lifted the rollback up. I was like, something's going to break, something will go well. And there's a goddamn horn. About time we had some decent horns added to this game. Yeah, lifted the rollback though, and the tyre soon pinged back through. About 30 seconds later, oh no, but then I realised I've only damaged the suspension. It's just because it's like monster truck suspension and it raises you so high, there's a long way to drop when you actually break it. The rear is gone as well, but it's just sitting on the rollback. I actually have to say though, on a little side note, I think this looked really cool like that. Admittedly, not too useful. It'd be nice if you could have some suspension like this, but just the nose raised a tad so it actually drives along the floor. But yeah, something about that. I like it. There's a hell of a lot of tyres to choose from in this truck as well. In a good way, it's not a bad thing. Well, apart from on PS4, it's like for whatever reason the scrolling through the tyre menu is horrifically slow. So I have like start questioning your life decisions and all sorts while I'm scrolling down to muds. But yeah, there's obviously all sorts from like the normal truck tyres with normal suspension all the way up to, yeah, these big monster truck tyres. Looks pretty cool when I did the rollback, set that back. Obviously the suspension could fully drop then. Got the little car Marshal out, pop that on the back. I've not got a loaf on this playthrough like my first loaded one. Not even got there yet. Good thing is, this does still work. I don't know when that'll come in handy, but it might. Well, it lifts the back up, so that's a start. But like I said, it was all good. It was only suspension, and this thing has like repair points on it as well, which I really like about that. More trucks should have more repair points without having a roof rack on that weighs you down and makes you go half the speed for some random reason. Yeah, this was the truck when I built it with more normal suspension, normal tyres. I think there might have been 51-inch tyres on it, and reading in like the little description, adding various things, it said the 45-inch tyres had matched pretty well with it, which they probably would. I probably went like for a tiny little sort of one size up. But the truck itself is pretty damn nice. I'll be reviewing this one pretty soon. I was kind of gonna think about doing a review tonight, but between picking the different mods, it takes quite a while, because obviously I load the mod, then I load it onto, say, my first playthrough. If it goes well through that, I sometimes load it onto my second playthrough, and then if it's still good again, I usually load it onto like my main playthrough, where I've got all the different trucks, all the different everything that I can now try and add on and all the rest of it. So yeah, going through the menus a lot, loading different maps up, there's a whole lot of that going on. And to be honest, if I'd started doing a review for something else tonight, this video wouldn't even be up until like sometime in the late afternoon. So I sort of thought, yeah, I'll just mess around, test a few different things tonight. This is another one. Is it like the M181? I'll just call it Bruce. We'll call it, I don't know, Super Bruce. It's pretty cool though. It's got a lot more options, raised suspension, a hell of a lot more choice of tyres. It's got roof racks you can have. I think it's got an upgraded engine as well. It's got this crane that we originally kind of got with the Bandit, but yeah, it works well on this. Pretty cool that it's rear mounted as well. So, because some of the trucks you get, I suppose particularly like Bruce, when the crane sits in the middle, you've already lost a lot of your arm length just by reaching outside of the vicinity of the truck. Especially if you're trying to reach to something behind or whatever. Quite often you have to, particularly when you're loading scouts, you have to kind of drive right up next to it so you can have the crane length as short as possible. This actually lifted the little loaf onto this side bed board thing, whatever. No issues whatsoever. I've not fully tested it or anything. Like I said, I was just kind of jumping through different mods. I was only loading one at a time, but yeah, I wanted to actually see what else is out there. I'm probably going to get a map as well pretty soon. I'm not too sure yet which map to get. Yeah, this was it heading through water. You've got a few different options of snorkels, and you can see now I stalled, and I thought, hey, because I'd already added a snorkel on, but obviously what I didn't realise, when I added the roof rack on, it removed the snorkel. One extra snorkel they've added in the options comes out the side of it. It looks a bit like the wedge cap one that's on the twin steer and stuff. Yeah, when I seen it, I was like, yeah, there's no point in putting that on because it's the same height as the normal one. Yeah, I kind of realise now that that's why they've added that. Cutting through the water, I stalled though. The loaf, goddamn professional as always. Zombie winch, so we turn Bruce into a zombie. Keep reeling the winch in, and it's making Super Bruce drive through the water, even though it is theoretically stalling and drowning. But see, the loaf knows no bounds. When he needs to get out of the situation, he's on it. And yeah, it took a little bit of jiggling around. I had to wait kind of for the river to push the nose of Bruce round. But overall, there you can see the little winch going through. Job's a good one. Even got a crane stuck in his roof rack. Goddamn horse of a vehicle. He gets to do his horn. When he does something good, I let him beep his horn. That's why you hear his horn all the time, because he's a goddamn professional. Yeah, with this thing though, it's nice. With obviously the amount it's raised the suspension, the nose, the chin of Bruce is raised up pretty well. There's also another option of suspension that, imagine it kind of raised like this, but the back's a bit lower. It kind of raises you a few pumps up all the way across, and then the last bit it like lifts the nose even more, so you sit kind of with your nose pointing up. But again, that's good because it helps with the ground clearance a hell of a lot. And yeah, just in case you were worried that the goddamn professional can't get himself off there because he had a crane up his ass, it's not a problem. He escaped. I thought this did pretty well now. I'll go through this puddle. Probably get a lot of trucks stuck in there, considering the loaf is, well, it's pretty stock, because I've still got the stock gearbox in it. I don't think I've got the raised suspension as well. I think this might have been one where I bugged, like I've got the 33-inch tyres on, but I've not got the raised suspension, and it doesn't let you do that anymore. They kind of patched that out, so yeah, this is like a limited edition loaf. Poses for a photo. This was another mod as well I went and tested out. I believe it was the truck pack this one was called. You get this, another Dolphin, but again raised suspension, a lot more tyres to choose from. There's a better engine, I think it's like a twin turbo engine. There's adds a Voron Grad. I didn't test that out in the end because I ended up getting a bug and it was a bit late in the night by then. It also adds a Zix that is apparently a lot more beefy. One thing it does add though is this into the trailers. It's called the Beast. It's got 30,000 litres, and when you sort of read it, it said it's yeah, extremely heavy, awkward, unforgiving. If you tip it, it's almost impossible to get back to its wheels. You'll struggle, basically. It was made. It sounds like it was made to be a troll, but kind of a bit of a challenge. Let some of your meatier trucks haul it along, so I'll give it a little go with this thing. And yeah, again, raised suspension on the Dolphin, which is pretty nice because, well, yeah, looking at this, it suits it, if you know what I mean. It's sort of, I think, yeah, these mods are adding a lot of things to the game which should have, well, when I say, yeah, I do think they should have been in there from the beginning pretty much, but then, that said, people on PC have near enough had mods from the beginning, so I suppose for those of us on console, obviously it's taken 8 or 9 months or whatever to get to this point. But I'm not going to lie, now I've got them, it's good. I've been enjoying them. And yeah, I was just going for a little lap, thought I'd go through this yard, and I tipped it, and it suddenly dawned on me like, oh no. So I edited quite a bit out here. There is a clob on the other side of it that I tried flipping it with a clob. It weighs a lot more than you think. They weren't lying when they said it was an awkward sod. But yeah, fortunately, go flat out at it. The old Dolphin got it done. And yeah, this was one of the glitches I had. I went, cancelled out the game, and it blue screened me. So I loaded the game back up, and then it started like sitting on that loading wheel for a minute, and then it came up with a message saying corrupted data. Obviously, like heart-stopping moment a little bit. I clicked OK though. It restored the data in about 10 seconds. Then when I went back onto my choices of maps on this one, which fortunately is my second playthrough, not like my main one or anything, it says a message at the top saying like there's a missing mod, and then it brought a warning up saying it'll delete the mod, but which was fine. Once I loaded the map back and everything seemed to be working okay. I didn't have any more crashes or any blue screens. I was able to quit the game fine. So yeah, that's about it for today. I'll be back pretty soon reviewing these things. One last tip, just remember, that's bra on, that's bra off. Never mind that, you have to pay extra for that. Yeah, I'll be back soon reviewing all these trucks, and possibly some of the other mods as well. I'll be getting a map pretty soon. Yeah, that's it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.